So it's going to be a team effort today for Ruler Lesson 18 as we look at diverse responses to conflict. And what we're going to do, we're going to look at 3 scenarios and go through each of those to look at how people respond to conflict differently. And here's the goal of all 3. Number 1, identify how people respond differently to the same conflict. And number 2, explain why people respond differently to the same conflict. So identification is one thing, but then we're going to go a little bit deeper and explain why. Okay, so here's scenario number 1. Jenna and Melanie both try out for the high school soccer team. They've played soccer together since they were young children. And when the team selection is posted, Jenna makes the soccer team and Melanie does not. When Jenna goes to Melanie's house after school one day, Melanie's mother tells her that Melanie does not want to see her. So let's look at this. Let's identify how people responded to the conflict. Now, it looks like, well, Jenna doesn't really have a conflict because she's on the good end of the stick, but Melanie is pretty sad. So so those are, I'm identifying it, and how Melanie responded, it looks like she retreated. She just wants to be left alone, and that seeing Jenna might trigger the sadness of not making the team. So if I explain why, well, maybe it's hurt feelings. Maybe they feel the coach, it was political, or, could have been personal. Or maybe even Melanie felt that Jenna shouldn't have joined the team if they weren't going to be together. Who knows, okay? So I took you through that first one, okay, just so you can think about that. Now, I would love for you to see it differently, okay? So I read a conflict, you identify how people respond to it, and then explain the reasons why, okay? So that's scenario number 1. So as a class, figure that out. And then scenario number 2. Cyrus and Jackson have the 2 highest grades in their writing class, and they are assigned the same topic for their end of the year assignment. The assignment is significant. They must write a 10-page story, and their teacher has told them that they can work together and edit each other's stories and ideas. Now, when it's time to submit their assignments, their essays are almost identical. Now, their teacher threatens to fail them both for cheating. Cyrus has allowed Jackson to read his work, but Jackson never shared his. Now, this is a toughie, and I've actually dealt with this at the high school, where 2 of my top students were in a very similar scenario with an English teacher that is no longer there, thank goodness. But it was a conflict. It was real. So this one's supposed to be hypothetical, but in my world, it is real. So I kind of gave you some ammunition for the first one, but for this scenario, again, identify how the people responded to the conflict and explain why they are probably going to have to conduct themselves differently, why they see it differently. And go a little deeper. What should be done in this scenario? Okay, now the final scenario is Anton and Bianca are close friends. Now, one day Bianca brings a new friend to lunch and does not introduce her to Anton. They spend most of the lunch talking to each other and not Anton. Anton is upset because he feels that he has been replaced by someone she does not know. Now, Bianca is upset because she assumed Anton knew the new friend and was choosing to be mean and not talk to them. Okay, and this stuff happens in lunchrooms all over the place. So, again, identify how the people responded to the conflict and explain the different vantage points in the conflict. Okay, so hopefully you and your class came up with some good ideas and had some good discussions. And once we work as a group, we're going to finish class turning it in-house to a journal entry, the 18th journal entry. And the question is, how do different people respond to conflict differently? Why do people respond to conflict differently? And I'll tell you what, this issue will be with you the rest of your life. Just because you leave middle school or you leave high school doesn't mean conflict goes away. It changes, but it's still there. So being able to see how people respond to it and think to why is a helpful tool as you move forward into your older years. So thank you for watching.